Alright, let's start this video with a cold start, even though it's summertime, but you guys like this stuff. Well, hey everyone, it's the Eurobandit here once again, and let's do a short update of my 1997 Audi A6 C4 turbo diesel. Here it is, as you can no doubt see in all its glory. If you've previously watched the video after I've purchased it, you'll know that I bought this car in the 5th of January of this year, and I've now owned it for a few months, and I did drive it throughout the winter and part of the spring as well, and I put it off the road in around March, and since then it kind of sat for 3 months. However, I did start it up every month to keep the battery charged. But now I decided to move it and give it a good wash, because it sat outside all this time. Of course, it had a bit of wax on it, so it wasn't completely unprotected, but it was full of pollen, dust, and some leaves and bird shit. Anyway, some changes I did to it since you saw it last time. Well, pretty minor, but as you can no doubt see, it now has orange front blinkers. It wasn't standard on the A6, but it was standard on the 100s. The orange blinkers in the front define a classic Audi, and even though this model isn't a classic yet, it's a early 90s design inspired from all the previous Audi 100. It's basically a renamed 100, which they did a small facelift on and decided to call it A6. Now we're gonna go through the stuff that are wrong with it. You did see that it does have some cosmetical issues. I didn't get to it yet, but as you can see, the typical rock chips, which isn't a huge issue for now. Yeah, even the front bumper is full of them. A bit of rust here and there. Some scraping going on from the previous owners, and as you can no doubt see, it really didn't rust a whole lot because I took well care of it. Although, as you can see, it started coming through the paint. This part wasn't as rusty yet, but down here it's not really a whole lot worse. And yeah, I showed you previously the huge dent on the rear fender. I want to get this whole rear fender, in fact the whole rear end of the car, repainted at some point, hopefully this year. If I won't get to it this year, then I won't drive it during winter anymore, because I don't want it to rust any further. And this rear fender has been completely repainted by one of the last owners. It's quite a shady job, as you can no doubt see, and something got wrong in the process of the painting, because I don't know, the paint wasn't comparable or something, but it's got a lot of scratches. It feels like it's in the paint, it's not really outside. That's pretty much all as far as the cosmetical issues. Now we're gonna go through the mechanical issues. It doesn't have a lot of issues. We're gonna start from the rear to the front. We're gonna start with the bigger issues first, and the number one issue, which is the biggest right now, is the fuel tank. Unfortunately, it's made out of metal, and you all know that it corrodes. Metal fuel tanks do corrode after a while, especially outside, and they eventually start to leak, and that's exactly what happened on this car. It leaks a bit, not a whole lot, but I don't want it to leak. It doesn't really lose a lot of fuel. I mean, the needle didn't even move, even though it's sat for 3 months. Of course, it was started every now and then, but if I park it somewhere, it does make a small puddle. And the fact that it's 4-wheel drive, it doesn't make things easier, because the differential is in a way, so that has to come out, as well as the drive shaft and part of the exhaust. So that's a huge job, and I don't even know if I'll do it myself, to be quite honest with you. Alright, let me pop the hood, I'll be right back. Right, this is my redneck hood prop, as you can see, because the strut itself is pretty much shot, so it doesn't do anything. Now you get the chance to see the engine without the beauty cover, as you can no doubt see. I took it off, and to be honest, I like it more without the cover on. You can actually see what's going on. This is the engine, the Bosch fuel pump, as you can no doubt see. Beautiful inline 5 engine. I recently pulled the codes on it to see what's wrong with it, because it does have some issues, especially during cold start. You probably noticed as well, because it doesn't start all that easy, and in the winter time I have to crank it quite a bit in order to start it. Well, two issues actually. One of them is the glow plug wires. 3 out of 5 are broken. The connectors themselves are pretty shot because they're made out of plastic, and that's also a reason why it starts harder during winter time. But this issue shouldn't affect it during summertime. So I figured I'd pull the codes. This thing doesn't have the OBD2 standard connection, so I had to buy a 2-pin adapter, which looks like this, as you can clearly see. One's the data, the other one's the power, or I don't know which of them. Anyway, basically borrowed a basic VW code reader, and I pulled the codes, and it only had one single code. I wasn't expecting it to have a lot of codes either, but there's one code, which is the needle leaf sensor, which is located on one of the 5 injectors. So the issue with that is that it only comes with the injector itself. You can't find this thing separately. It only comes as an assembly with the injector. There aren't any aftermarket options out there, and I'm more or less stuck with buying standard Bosch injectors, and one of those with the sensor itself costs between 460 to 480 euros, and that's a pretty penny. And the used ones usually come from cars which have way more than 300,000 kilometers, so that's like buying a lottery ticket, to be quite honest, and I don't know what it costs to rebuild them. And then I'll buy repair kits for the glow plug cables. There are some repair kits. I'll buy all the 5, even though only 3 of them are sort of broken, but I'll buy them all. And while I'm at it, I'll also buy 5 brand new glow plugs, because why not? Do some preventive maintenance. And other than that, engine wise, there's absolutely no more issues whatsoever. Another issue it has is the temperature gauge itself. It doesn't work. It only moves a slightly bit, so I don't know when the engine's at the operative temperature. I had the thermostat as well as the coolant temperature sensor replaced, and that didn't help. So that's pretty much the gauge which failed. I did take a laser thermometer and measured around the temperature sensor to see what the temperature is, and the engine does indeed get to the operative temperature, so there's no issues there. So yeah, I'll take care of that later on. It's not a urgent issue. What I really need to do is have the stupid fuel tank fixed, as well as the needle leaf sensor. Those are the more urgent things I need to do, as well as the rear brakes, because the rollers are shot. I think I have them, since the car came with brand new rear pads, but I don't really remember having the rollers as well. We'll see. It also needs a tie rod end. Shut this door though. Yeah, there's something wrong with the mechanism. It's a bit worn because you have to slam the door in order for it to close properly, and of course it does have some play. The hinges are also worn, but that's pretty standard for 410,000 kilometers. Now I'm gonna move it back to its spot. Anyway, that's pretty much all for now. Hope you like this video. If you do, why not thumbs up, check out my other videos, and definitely subscribe if you want to see my other videos. And let's get to 1500 subscribers, guys. Cheers.